Hi, my name is Yazan Ibrahim, also known as yazan.abogosh. Today we will talk about Chapter 3, Part A, Information Systems 3.0 Introduction. Every great organization relies on a silent, invisible force that shapes its success. It's not the bustling boardrooms or the innovative marketing strategies, though those are essential. It's the information systems, the interconnected web of hardware, software, applications, and infrastructures that powers day-to-day operations. Information systems determine how efficiently data flows, how decision makers access critical insights, and how vulnerabilities, both mundane and catastrophic, are identified and controlled. But building and managing these systems is no small feat. It's a journey full of challenges, risks, and opportunities, all of which must be carefully navigated by skilled professionals. Today, we're diving into the meticulous process of information systems acquisition, development, and implementation, a cornerstone of modern-day technology management. Whether you're a CISA aspirant or just curious about how tech drives organizations, this exploration will reveal the story behind the systems that silently but effectively fuel businesses. Laying the groundwork, why information systems matter. Imagine the sprawling roadmap of an organization. At its core lies the information system, a digital nervous system connecting various limbs. For this ecosystem to thrive, every element, hardware, software, applications, and infrastructures, must not only suit the organization's current needs, but also anticipate its future demands. This begins with understanding one fundamental question: how do we evaluate, acquire, develop, implement, maintain, and eventually retire these critical systems? For auditors, especially those pursuing certification as a CISA or Certified Information Systems Auditor, understanding this life cycle isn't just about knowing definitions or mastering jargon. It's about ensuring these systems align with business goals while mitigating risks. A good auditor doesn't just understand, they analyze, question, and improve. They can spot flaws before they become vulnerabilities and adapt processes to meet changes in technology, security, or organizational direction. The big picture, Domain 3 in a nutshell. Let's break it down. When we talk about the acquisition, development, and implementation of information systems, we're essentially discussing one of the core domains covered in the CISA examination. This domain makes up 12% of the total exam content and addresses every phase of an information system's lifecycle, from the birth of an idea to the final post-implementation review. But what does this really entail? First, there's project governance and management, the overarching framework that ensures each project within the system's lifecycle is aligned with organizational goals. Think of this as the blueprint that guides construction. It outlines resources, timelines, risks, and controls. Next is the business case and feasibility analysis, a critical checkpoint before initiating any major system development. It's not just about presenting an idea, it's about answering tough questions. Does this project solve a real problem? Is it worth the investment? What alternatives exist? If a solid analysis isn't conducted, entire projects can veer off course, wasting time, money, and resources. Then we have the fun part: system development methodologies, agile, waterfall, DevOps. These aren't just buzzwords, they're the methodologies that dictate how systems are built. Choosing the right process here can mean the difference between seamless deployment and endless frustration. But it doesn't stop at development. An eagle-eyed auditor always evaluates control identification and design, ensuring that security, governance, and operational controls are stitched into every seam of the system. A closer look: application and implementation. Now let's move beyond the development stage and into the critical process of system implementation. Once a system is built, it must be tested thoroughly. The tiniest bug, overlooked control, or misstep in testing methodologies can have far-reaching consequences. For example, consider configuration and release management, a process often overlooked until it's too late. At its core, this stage ensures that changes and deployments in the system don't result in disruptions. Imagine a skyscraper being built. If you rush the installation of a key structural element or forget to inspect its integrity, the consequences can be catastrophic. The same is true for managing the deployment of new releases in software systems. And what about when systems must migrate or data must be converted? Enter the realm of system migration, infrastructure deployment, and data conversion. This phase demands meticulous planning to minimize downtime, avoid mistakes in data transfer, and ensure all parts of the infrastructure integrate seamlessly. A failure here could result in corrupted databases, dysfunctional applications, or even data breaches. Finally, no process is truly complete without a post-implementation review. This is the moment of truth, the final opportunity to reflect. Were the objectives achieved? Are the controls robust? Does the system operate as intended? Success or failure hinges on the rigor of this step. The auditor's mindset, evaluating and mitigating risks. Throughout these processes, an IS auditor brings a unique perspective. Their job goes far beyond oversight. They must critically evaluate and ensure that every step of this journey, every business case, every control, every migration is robust enough to withstand scrutiny. For instance, think about the vulnerabilities that can arise during the development process. An auditor will ask, are security measures built into the system or are they an afterthought? During change management, they'll assess whether modifications are properly documented and approved, preventing chaos down the road. Auditors question assumptions, anticipate risks, and recommend proactive controls to make systems stronger, more resilient, and better aligned with organizational goals. Why it matters for CISA aspirants mastering Domain 3 is more than an academic exercise. It's about developing the ability to guide organizations through the complexities of managing information systems. A CISA certified auditor must not only understand the technical mechanics, but also possess the strategic foresight to identify vulnerabilities, mitigate risks, and champion best practices. Understanding information systems is like being a navigator on a vast ocean. Every choice, every system acquired, developed, and implemented is a course correction toward the overarching goal, ensuring these tools become enablers, not obstacles of success. Call to action: building smarter systems. Information systems are the backbone of modern organizations, but managing them is both an art and a science. By mastering concepts like project governance, system development methodologies, control design, and testing processes, we empower not just organizations, but also the skilled professionals who ensure these systems remain secure, effective, and invaluable. As we conclude this exploration, challenge yourself to look deeper. Whether you're preparing for an exam, managing an IT team, or simply curious about what drives the digital world, understanding these concepts is key to building smarter, safer, and more efficient systems. Let's make technology work better, for us and for the future. Thank you for watching, and as always, continue learning. Stay curious, and we'll see you next video.